I am back and I have my sketchbook out. It's not done. This isn't a sketchbook tour. I know, I'm doing something else other than a sketchbook tour. It's crazy. I got, my next purchase is gonna be buying a chair that isn't so loud, but I got these Grabie watercolors. You can see I've been able to reuse them just a little bit. Weird, it fans out. I got these sent to me to do a review or like a short video on TikTok. That's fine and dandy. I wanted to do something more fun. So this came with this little like palette of paper here, this watercolor pad, and I was looking through it and I had these to swatch. I've used these a little bit already and I'll get more into like more of a review I guess as the video goes on, but these I already swatched. They're easy to pop out, but they're like these little like, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but they're like these little rectangles and there's 6 of them. And I could make little photo cards of my characters with this, but I was like, but I kind of want to do it on video and I could review these. I can make my TikTok that I have to make for these. Basically, my first thing that I wanted to do was get my ideas sort of thumbnailed, but I got my colors, my highlighters of choice. Did I not grab out a scented marker? This pink scented one. Okay. Do we like how difficult it is for me to dig through this bag? I cleaned it out recently, trying to make it easier for me to be able to use it. And I took out a bunch of supplies, and yet I'm back. So I guess to start, I could just I wanted to thumbnail out all the cards. So they're like, I'm gonna kind of have them sitting here. As I say to like my small children that I work with, we're gonna have these oriented long ways friends, okay? So I'm just gonna get this all sketched out. I wonder if I should thumbnail these with my left hand. For those who don't watch me talk about everything all the time, or if you're new, I guess, I have a lot of wrist problems and I don't stop to deal with them. Just iced my wrist, so hopefully I'll be good. I mean, I'm gonna try and start doing the rule where every 20 minutes I take a break to actually fucking stretch my wrist. I'm really bad at that. For right now, I'll start with sketching Miles. So I was thinking that for these, I don't have like 6 main characters, but I do have 4 main characters with multiple different forms. So what I want is for these kind of to feel like photo cards that people make of their characters or of K-pop idols or like whoever. I feel like that could be fun. I just kind of want to get a headshot with a hand in for each of them. So for Miles, what's like a good hand shot? I feel like peace sign. If my voice is extra nasally right now, yeah. My voice, like its natural setting is already like kind of nasally just as its baseline, but when I even get like a little bit remotely sick, it just gets worse. Just gets so much worse. Doodling June now. For those unfamiliar, these are my OCs. So I have the OCs June, M, Miles, and Cash, and you may notice I have 6 things. Miles and Cash have like 2 separate forms. They have like one that they discover after they have like their powers activated, I guess is the most like simple way to describe it, that they can access and they can go between the 2 designs. June, we could have her having like a little like grumpy sort of face. Just kind of got a little bit of an attitude problem. Her and Cash. A lot of these characters kind of have like attitude problems, but I feel like June's comes off like particularly immature. I feel like every time I draw these characters, they look a little different, which is like my bad. Partially to me, I'm still figuring them out, so I'm not gonna know how I want them to look entirely yet. However, we're getting to a point where I should have it solidified. I was gonna say, it's not like I'm doing anything with them where it requires me to draw them consistently. I have an animatic that I've been working on. It has all of them in it, but Miles is like the primary focus, and that I could always just use the reference sheets I made them, but there's things about that are currently inaccurate. Like for one, Miles now does not have a mustache because I decided that it was too busy around just like his nose and mouth area. Like he already has a goatee, a mustache, a septum. I want hands in these just because I feel like that will add like cute interest of the pose, but maybe I don't know what poses I want for the hand. Maybe she's going like this along the side of her face. I haven't done either of the Cashes yet. What pose do I do for Cash? I feel like anything I think of, it feels corny. Maybe he could also have his head kind of resting on his hand. Maybe that makes more sense for his younger design though. Or not his younger, prepubescent. Also, Cash's nose shape has sort of changed because I designed his dad-ish, and I decided that when he's in his second form, his nose particularly looks more like his dad's. And when he's in his like first form, he generally looks more like his mom. I can always figure out fits and go on Pinterest and whatnot. I don't know, he tends to have a cheesed expression a lot of times when I draw him. Not that he's a happy individual, but he's got that persona. On Art Fight, because Art Fight is happening right now, no one has drawn Cash in his like first form, which I'm not gonna be like sitting around and complaining because I've gotten so many beautiful attacks, and I'm not gonna be like, you didn't draw my but it's just kind of interesting to see like what versions get drawn. Both versions of Miles I'd say have been drawn pretty consistently, like both of his like normal forms. He has his evil sad ass form, which has been drawn maybe the most, I think, out of any of the designs I have. It makes sense because like people just really like angst. But it's very interesting to me that nobody really has drawn this version of Cash, I guess. To me, I'm like, I love drawing this version of him. I love how he looks here. I don't know, it's just, I have the most fun drawing him when he looks like this. And I think that might be partially part of why I made it so that like in the time skip, whenever they're all happy and healed, he reverts more back to this design. In the final, I move it down just a little bit so that his head is higher up and you can see maybe more of his hand. I'm just thinking of finger gun. I maybe will look up more poses to come up with better ideas, but this is what I got right now. Just awkward Miles. I think I like M's. I like Miles's. I like June's. I feel like all three of these are pretty good. This one of Cash, I don't know how I feel about the finger gun, and I don't know how I feel about this one of Cash either with like the pose. And this one of Miles just feels awkward. So I'm gonna maybe 2 more sketches. How do I want them to be posed? Good for Miles that also kind of fits him. And I'm having a hard time thinking of it. Ooh, wait. I had an idea for Cash. I didn't have an idea for Miles. Please give me your recommendations for Deltarune Chapter 3 and beyond playthroughs. I need someone. Okay, by the way, for this, I'm thinking that he has his hand in his hair. I did those doodles of Cash that had him with a green shirt and brown hair, and people were like, it's just Chris. And I was like, I mean, I'm like, it's basically just pattern recognition, long hair, like spiky-ish hair goes over face and green t-shirt. I mean, like, yeah, that's Chris. I gotcha. I really like this one for Miles. Like, young Miles is not young. I don't know why I say young. Like, this is not like an age skip, but like prepubescent form Miles. I think one of my favorite details about their designs, yeah, I'm procrastinating by adding details to the other ones, is that his ears, he has little gauges and then he has big gauges in this form. That's a detail that makes me very happy. How the fuck do I come up with something? Maybe I'll do a couple small ones. Maybe for the Miles one, I could do it like he's flexing, like this. I also think I should be better about thumbnailing actually small because this like helps a lot. That looks good. I like it. I like that. I'll sketch it out over here, but I am someone who benefits definitely the most from like a chatty, more talkative environment. That was like one person where the end of the semester or whatever, and we were talking about our experience having class together, and they're like, yeah, I mean, you are a very chatty individual. This is the kind of environment that I thrive in. And it seems like it's kind of rare. Like, I feel like a lot of times art classes are very quiet. I've been told to shut the fuck up in art classes, which is sorry to my teachers who have had to tell me to shut the fuck up over and over again with little results, because I am just a fucking yapper. I like chit-chatting while I draw. Okay. I might add in just a sticky note. I like that I grabbed out all these colors, being like, I'll do something really pretty and kind of, I'll do like blue, I guess. Or maybe I'll keep it monochromatic, I guess. No, because you're not going to see it on top of that. So I'll add orange. Easy solutions. I like the idea of finger guns. I don't know if I'm gonna like this idea, but you know what? It's a very small thumbnail sketch, so it doesn't really matter. Blowing it out, like pretending to blow out. Yeah, that was a heavy sigh from my dog. What else I want? Like, this is a fine pose. It just doesn't like I don't feel like it captures his fucking attitude problem, and I want it to show that he has an attitude. Maybe I could just give him this pose, like resting his head. I don't know. I keep scooching this. My sincerest apology. I've been recording for 24 minutes. This is just the thumbnailing stage 2. Christ. Whatever. Yeah, I like that pose. Okay. Now I can do it over this. Yeah, I also feel like I definitely have same face syndrome. I think I've gotten better at capturing likeness of individuals. Everybody, if it's been like 20 minutes since you started drawing, now's your time to do a wrist stretch. I don't know why I'm filming this part. I might let this wrist rest and do wrist west. The kids at work, a lot of them have speech impediments. I really like hearing the different ways kids talk. Mr. Hayden, can I get a wed maca? Sure, buddy, you can have a wed maca. I'm thinking for these, I want there to be like a decorative element behind them. And I think now I have to use orange. Throw my marker bag over here. When I think of June and M, a lot of times I think of them with hearts and swirls. Like, I think of M as swirls and June as hearts. I mean, obviously M has like the little swirl in her hair, but June has like her bangs kind of make a little bit of a heart shape. So I'm thinking for them definitely like hearts and swirls are easy as like little things I could put in their background. Maybe, I don't know. I might have to think of the decorative elements a bit later. I could also always do a little bit of scrapbooking stuff. I don't know. We'll see what I have. Miles and Cash's like backgrounds that I do for both of them the same, so that I don't have to think of something completely different both times. But I did this once because I looked on Pinterest for like background ideas, and it's basically you just do horizontal and vertical lines that cross over each other, and then you round out the parts where they meet. You know, it's almost Spider-Man time. It's almost the season of Spider-Man. And that is going to be a big fucking... I hope you all know that when that movie comes out and when I see it, hopefully it's going to be a problem. If that movie isn't a problem, then there's going to be a bigger issue on our hands, which means I will not stop talking about the fact that I don't like that movie. But if that movie is good and I like it, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big fucking issue. I also just like that it's kind of the start of a new era. I don't know if Zendaya is gonna be like removed from the series. Well, we'll see, I guess. I feel like this movie will be telling if she's actually gonna be like maintained as a character, or if it's just gonna be like, well, no more MJ. Maybe he tries to do a thing with, I was gonna say Sydney Sweeney. I almost always want to call her Sydney Sweeney. She's not. She's running up the hill, running up the building. She's that one. Deserves better than for me to not know her name. And secondly, because, you know, Gwen Stacy never really has like a happy ending in any Spider-Man story. How do I want to do Miles' background? I'm thinking maybe stars. I feel like that's a simple one, but I like him with stars in mind. I actually like all these like simple background ideas. Makes it simpler for me to do. Maybe I could like do something where on the two different versions of them, like I keep the designs the same, but maybe I invert them. Like this one, you see how I'm kind of filling it in. Maybe on the other one, I don't do that. You may notice I'm doing a lot of this shit with my left hand. I feel like my developmental abilities with my left hand are like on this level of an elementary school student, where it's like it is also combined with like my art knowledge. My skills are maybe at the same, like for how I can hold it, it's like at the same level as maybe like a 7-year-old. So I would say that influences what I am able to achieve with just my left hand. But I also think I continue to impress myself with how much better I've gotten with it as more time has gone on. This isn't a super clear example of what I want, but I think it's clear enough for me to understand. I want to invert it on maybe one of these, like I do 2 colors in the background and I maybe paint the rest of them. But yeah, this is the sketching phase, so I'll leave this just where it's at, and then I'll start maybe doing the sketches. Maybe I'll do the sketches off camera so that I don't have just so much footage. I think that might be easiest. Okay, I have them all sketched out, so I'm very happy with how these sketches all came out. I'm probably gonna do maybe one of these Miles off camera. I don't know which one. I think I might do this one off camera. Here's M, June, and then these two of Cash. I like this one of Cash a lot. I'm very happy with how that turned out. So I don't know which one I want to start with. I think I'll save this one to film for the TikTok, and then I'll do this Miles now. I didn't want to exclude one of the girls because there's only like one drawing of each of them, and I feel like I maybe have more to say about Cash than I do Miles in terms of like recent things I've done. Oh, just a teeny tiny toilet or a teeny... What's that? What is he saying in that video?
Oh, look at you, a little tiny toilet for a little tiny baby to... Curse you, tiny...
Okay, so I have water with me. There it is. This palette came with this brush. I don't want to use that. I like how incredibly close I am. It's fine. There's pearlescence, which I do want to figure out a way to use all of these. Let's just kind of start by just like coloring parts of them that I know are going to be certain colors so that I don't have to overthink it too much. Okay. There's only like one regular schmagular brown. I'm gonna use my own watercolor brush. I don't mind these kinds of brushes. I just feel like I like the control I have more with a regular paintbrush. I could pop out this of Miles and then use the paper that's around this as my swatch paper. I love how these look once I take them out of the little frame. This, maybe when I'm actively like watercoloring, but while I'm mixing right now, I kind of want to get a little bit more of this in view. Okay. His skin tone in this version is a little bit more desaturated, so maybe I'll add a little bit of that blue. The practice of using these watercolors is a little bit, I guess, kind of different to what I'm used to, just because like all the colors are kind of tucked away. I'm gonna lighten the sketch with my kneaded eraser for lore. Oh, that's way too desaturated. Okay. It's the first layer, it doesn't matter too much. But when I'm thinking about Miles, I guess, don't think too much of his story has changed. I mean, it's been like a month, so like there's not the craziest amount of differences. I have been thinking a lot about him being an art teacher because I am an art teacher, and I feel like, okay, here's the mixed bag of that. Like, this story, I imagine it takes place almost solely in college. Like, I imagine that, like, if this was like a series and it had like a few seasons and I could like have total control, I would imagine I would want it to just take place over the course of maybe just like their college time. I'm gonna make sure that I remember to keep this palm lighter, so I'm just probably gonna end up doing less layers because this skin tone is pretty light right now, that you really have to build layers with watercolor. But little kids, I feel like they approach watercolor in a way that I appreciate, which is like they just kind of do it and they hope for the best. I feel like kids are less scared to try things, and a lot of kids make really cool stuff with watercolor because they're like less afraid to experiment than I feel like adults are. Like, I love how my favorite thing about the youngest kids is their like lack of fear in terms of trying certain things. I mean, it depends on the age group you're working with, but yeah, they lack a lot of fear. I think that's a healthy thing, especially when you're starting in art, to be like, oh, I don't really care how this turns out, this is just like my fun art practice. Okay, I think his hair is a little bit more purple than this and a little bit darker, but again, guess what? First layer, so it doesn't matter too much. As long as your first layer doesn't go too dark, you can kind of always fix your mistakes pretty easily, I guess I would say. I'm gonna let his hair dry a little bit. I realized I didn't do his ears. To this day, I don't know if I'm doing a lot of things with watercolors correctly. I've kind of just done what I think looks okay and then just hope. I think that's gone pretty decently for me thus far. Okay, so with this palette that I'm using, the Grabie one, it's on TikTok Shop. I'm gonna have my video that I make for these linked in the description. So if you end up thinking that this is cool and you want to get one, go to my video link. I think they're on sale, and then I get a commission if you want to love me. I associate Miles a lot with magenta, and this is a very magenta color. This is the color that it looks like, which I think is close, but I think it's less saturated. So maybe I mix it with like this brown color, my little swatch. Yeah, that's like closer. I just think maybe I mix it with a little bit of brown and see if that brings me where I need to go. I mean, that's pretty close. I just think maybe even less saturated than that. I plan on maybe lining these at the end. I'll either line with my, I think it's Stabilo, whatever these are called. I might either use those or my Prismacolors to line these. I think Prismacolors might be the winner. Watercolors and colored pencils kind of have like a nice soft look. We'll see. I forgot to paint this other year. But this hair color is looking a lot better. This is a lot closer to how I envision Miles's hair to be. I think if anything, with those reference sheets I made, it gives me the clearest like reference for colors, because little bits of their faces and stuff. I think this version of Miles is the most like accurate out of the ones I did. His skin is way too light and it makes me upset. I'm like, no! His hair is definitely darker and more purple, so I'm gonna keep that in mind. The interesting thing about this palette, if you were going to buy it, is that there's only one shade of purple in the entire thing, and a shimmery purple. Oh, there's 3 purples. Pastel purple, this shimmery witch purple, and then dark violet. Those are the 3 purples. And I guess if you want to count this like jam color, those are the purples that are in the set. And there's how many colors? 36, 56? I don't know. It's some large amount of colors. That's like the biggest problem I'd say with the set, is that there's kind of like a weird color choices where I'm like, okay, we got one purple in this entire thing. But if you're someone that uses a lot of purple, the thing with watercolors, like I don't really mind it too much, just because you can always mix, you know? I should probably go back to his skin since it's underneath his hair. I used to, when I was a lot younger, I would draw characters with alcohol markers, and then I got to a point where all of my skin tone alcohol markers were drying out because I was using them so much, because I drew mostly people. I still draw mostly people, but got to a new point. Oh, I need to use something else for the skin, so I would use colored pencil. The thing about colored pencil, especially when you're a dumb kid, that it looks a lot lighter, so all of my characters looked pale as fuck. And I think back on that era and I'm like, thank God I'm not a stupid 12-year-old anymore. It was definitely a mixed media sort of vibe. I think I could maybe do that now if I also was using like the shittiest colored pencils you could probably think of for that. I think that's pretty good for a palm color. Like, I have to look at my hand though to be like, okay, where's the side of my hand and where's the actual part of my hand? Kind of do it like I'm doing little edges, I guess. And I'm gonna try and wipe off my brush to pick up some of the color. That's something I do a lot. I remember my dad, before I just started driving and he was maybe teaching my siblings how to drive, he described it as like, you're kind of constantly making tiny adjustments. And that's kind of how I feel with like watercolors. It's like you're kind of constantly going back and forth, touching up little spots and like rearranging things to make it work. This is not going how I want it to go over here. I'm gonna dry off my brush and try and pick up and spread the pigment around in a way so it won't dry super splotchy, hopefully. But you also can kind of see like little bits of the palm lines. I'm not gonna go crazy with it just because this is more simplified, but I think that's good. I honestly feel like this hand could almost be done. Even if I don't end up like putting it in a show or whatever, Miles is definitely gonna be a teacher at some point. I just know it has to happen. Or he at least does like in between summers of college, he does teaching, helping stuff, or like works with children in some way, just because I do that and I want to write a character doing that. I feel like my art is not the kind of art you associate with watercolors either. When I think of watercolors, I think of like landscape paintings, and I think that's what most people think of too. Maybe I'll do his shirt while I wait for the skin and the hair to dry, because it's still a little wet. Do we like my little swatch thing? So you can make swatch paper work out of almost any paper. Okay, I think I want this to be a little bit more pink. Yeah, Miles I associate with magentas, and then June I associate with like darker purples. And then M I associate a lot with like sage green and like teal and brown. I feel like those are her colors. That's pretty close. No, it's not. Cash I associate with like red and green, mostly green though. That's pretty close. I think that's what I want for his shirt. I feel like June and M, I constantly am drawing them in different outfits because I don't know. I feel like with girls, typically they're just kind of more fun to come up with different outfits for. Sometimes I think June looks like Emma Artley's OC, Winifred. The most she's ever looked like Winifred, I think, is that one drawing I did of her with M, where I used a gradient map, so she was just like extra orange and I drew her hair down. I know that Winifred has like buck teeth, but June just has like a tooth gap, but I feel like both of those traits just also make them like sort of similar. It's just like front teeth quirks, I guess. I don't even know. I wouldn't even say like quirks, just like a notable front tooth feature. I edited the first part of this video and I was so pissed off because, hey, why was my head in the shot always? Now the camera is too low for my head to get in there, thank God, but god damn, that was annoying. Yeah, you gotta build layers. That's always the thing with watercolors. Just build, build, build. Finally getting that other ear in. I love watercolor. I also just like it because you can mix whatever color you want. Kids with mixing watercolors can either be great or really annoying because sometimes they're just mixing some bullshit and then they always end up with like poop green brown and I'm like, why? Oh, you're wasting my paint on some bullshit. But not even like, not because they're making like shitty art or something. No. I don't care if they're making like quote unquote bad art. That's the point. If they're making something, I'm happy with that in the first place, but they're really just mixing some bullshit just for the sake of mixing some bullshit a lot of time. And it's not my favorite, especially because like they're just mixing and then they don't even paint with it. They just leave it on the palette and then it's super wet and it spills on my bag and then they just wasted all that paint. You know, that's where my problem with it lies. I think the coolest thing about this palette is it's kind of the gimmick of how it lays out, how you can like fan out the colors and all that stuff, and how it's very travelable. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, it comes with that water brush, which obviously I'm not using it here, but I will say that that's a smart thing to include when you're making a palette that's meant to be taken places, because those water brushes are very good for portability, so things like that are good to keep in mind. I think I'm ready to do maybe his bandana. It's really interesting when kids decide that their drawing looks bad. A lot of time kids will think that they just made a masterpiece and it looks like some crap, but you know, that's like what kids do. Like, I'm fine with that. I think that's very normal. But when kids are like, this looks horrible, I'm like, it looks like the most like, it looks good. Like, there was this one kid who was having a meltdown because she thought her, like, art looked horrible. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I was trying to do this thing where I was like, okay, tell me what you specifically don't like about it, because maybe I could help you. And she's like, no, all of it looks bad. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with that piece of information. Also tried to do that exact same thing with my roommate, because he was like, this drawing, it looks like shit. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong with that? Maybe I could like help you figure it out. He's like, all of it looks bad. And I was like, you suck. That is bad form. Be specific. If everything looks bad, be specific about why that thing looks bad. If you think every part of the thing looks bad, why? Why is it? And then don't just be like, it just does. That's not an answer. Gentle parenting him like he's my kid. Okay, I'll let that dry. I think that's looking good so far though. Like, I'm probably gonna add a lot of detail in the line art phase, but I'm also thinking I want to add shimmer. So this is a good time to figure out. I'll put this to the side and I'll think about the shimmers. I think I'll save, yeah, I'll do gold for we're gonna be golden. That is a bop with the small children, okay? That's a big problem with the small children. Maybe for Miles, do gold and black, and maybe I invert it on this one. I think I want the stars to be black on this one and the stars to be gold on his other one. I've never had shimmery watercolors. That's another thing I really like about these. And also look at how pigmented these are. They're also just, that is a nice thing about these. These are very pigmented watercolors. I always do a lot of the details of like the face in the line art stage. So it gets to this point, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm almost done watercoloring. And you're like, oh, that's good. Okay, maybe I don't know if I want to do gold. That's the thing. Maybe I could mix the pink and the purple. I think that could be fun. I like how my little swatches look. Just look at that like pretty pool of shimmery, beautiful goodness. Like that's very pretty. I'm gonna do some swatches on my tiny ass sheet here. It gives me an idea of the color anyways. That's pretty good. I kind of want to add a little bit more pink. See that little like shimmer in the background, so good. Yeah, these watercolors are pretty nice, I'd say, so far. I'm also not like the most picky. I've never been a very picky person when it comes to my watercolors. I've kind of always just been like, oh, this is what I have available. Okay, perfect. You know, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at Miles and I'm going, your skin could still be a little darker. I'm gonna do that off camera because it's just more layering. And then once all the watercolors don't come back. I got Miles done. I got the other Miles done. I'm gonna line this one again off camera, but look at that. Look at him. Look at him. I really like the jersey being pink. I'm happy with that choice. But little kids with pencil sharpeners is like one of my least favorite fucking things. I feel like making this one of Miles have at least darker, maybe cooler colors for his line art might work well as a contrast. Every time I draw this version of Miles and there's a way to contrast it against his other design, I go ham. I also like it because I can add a little bit of texture to the face, make some areas blend a little bit more. I just feel like colored pencils, especially like combined with watercolor, really adds an extra oomph. Okay, time to add in these beautiful unibrows. I always have enjoyed giving my characters maybe features that are considered like less conventional, and I'm happy that I kept it across both his designs. Like that's why I ended up going back and changing the fact that Cash has acne in both versions. So I was like, I don't want it to read like, oh, in this form he's better because he has this going for him. They are both meant to like look a little bit more conventionally attractive in secondary designs, you know, but I don't want it to read like it's a hard balance. I don't want it to read like one is actually better than the other, especially with Cash, even though he maybe looks more conventionally attractive in his other design, he is much more like miserable and he's putting on a facade and a performance, and so it's like those sort of things impact his appearance. I like that I wait to do pupils for so late because really just looks scary for a while. I like that I was like, oh yeah, colored pencils provide like a softer look. This is so not soft because I'm going with such harsh edges. Ugh, I love drawing clothes. Clothes are definitely my favorite thing to draw, especially line art. I think line art might be my favorite stage of drawing. Is that true? I definitely don't think coloring is my favorite. I don't do it a whole lot. I think sketching and lining are like my favorites. Because coloring can be fun, but I feel like most of the time I really have to think a lot because I'm thinking like, okay, let's get colors of contrast here. How can we make it balanced? It's a lot of thought that goes into that for me. Whereas when I'm just sketching and like doing line art, I'm kind of like, okay, I know what I have to do here. I have to make these lines visible. I have to make them stand out against each other. It's much more like up my alley. I'm adding a little bit of texture fully on the back of this bandana, so it's like more obvious that it's in the back of his head. Oh, I love how it looks when I add colored pencil. This is always the stage too, like especially when I do coloring traditionally, I tend to do the line art as like the last thing so that I can kind of oomph up anything that needs to be oomphed. I don't know. It also just makes it easier in general, I guess I'd say, to do line art as my last thing. Here's a story that hopefully I don't have any of my art teachers from last semester watching, but if they did, the grades are what they are and it's too late. But I had a teacher that I was doing our final and I went into class to work on it, and I turned to her and I'm like, hey, I'm kind of over this piece and I'm just wondering like what my grade would be if I turned it in right now. And she's like, I think you're sitting at like a B maybe. If you add a little bit more, you'll get up to an A. And I was like, you know what? Perfect. I'll take a B. I don't need an A. So I leave it alone and I go back in for the actual day of like the final, and I show it to her after having not added anything. She's like, wow, Hayden, I think that this is, this is A material now. Like, I can tell that you added some more. And I was like, you know what? Whatever you want to believe. Oh, yeah, I totally did add some more. So I ended up getting an A, which to me that reads as like, okay, what is she even actually like grading me on? Because I remember with that last piece, I got to a point where I was like, I think that these values need more contrast, but I was using some acrylic markers, and the thing with acrylic markers is you kind of just have the colors that you have. It's one of my least favorite things about them is that you're kind of just stuck with what you got. Doing it, I was adding in acrylic markers to kind of finish it, and it was just like all the values were kind of similar, so I didn't feel like there was enough good contrast. But I was at a point where I was like, I just want to be fucking, obviously I was like, I just want to be done with this. Going to my teacher just being like, what grade would I get if I turned it in right now? I'm not adding anything else. But she was like, I still think you could have pushed more detail in these areas more, but I can tell that you're done with it. That last like meeting that I had with that teacher, she was talking to me and she's like, I can tell that you really like art. I can tell that it's a passion for you. I can tell that you never stop doing it. However, I can also tell that you get really bored and then you're just ready to move on. But this was like the biggest compliment I feel like I got from any of my professors. She's like, but I think you're at a skill level where you can kind of just decide that you're gonna do that and it's not gonna be an issue. I was like, yeah, I mean, I do, like, I get to a point with some assignments, if I'm not really into it, I just decide like, okay, I'm just gonna take the grade I'm gonna get. As long as it's like B range. Could I get it to an A? Yeah. Am I going to do that? No. I like to make his eyes in this form a little bit more like faint and kind of distant. Oh man. His soulless, sad little eyes. It's still art fight season, but honestly, my wrist has been hurting so much that I can't really like justify doing any attacks, because I'm like, I would rather do something that's like more in line with like other projects that I've been meaning to catch up on than do kind of like this fun thing. But I've always kind of treated art fight like it's just a fun thing to do in the background. I think I'm pretty happy with this. Actually, every time I work on a project like this where it's like a finished illustration, I look at it and I go, yeah, I think I'm done. And then I step back for a second and I go, no, I'm not. No, the fuck you're not. Get back in that chair. Get back at your easel and draw. My experience with art teachers is a lot of variety. There's some art teachers where they're like really chill and I feel like they really like me and what I do. And then there's other art teachers where I think that I interact with them and they immediately find me really frustrating. Because I'm also like annoying to work with. I know this about me. At least when it's come to art classes growing up and stuff, a little bit difficult because I kind of just want to do what I want to do. But here he is. Look at him. Aw, so cute. He's done. He's done. I don't like these white spaces. He's done. Look at him. Aw, so cute. I do really like doing line art. It just gives it the oomph it needs. I might still do little tweaks. I feel like there could be more contrast in some areas around here, but you know what? I'm pretty happy with it. That's a guy. That's my little guy. Okay. Now on to the next one. Okay, we are back. I finished the other mile. Look at them! Oh my god. This makes me so excited to get the other ones done, because once they're all done and I get to just look at them, that'll be great. I think I want to do M, because I know I want both of the girls in this video. And I've already started the process of editing this, and I'm already going, This is a little long, huh? I did a poll on my Instagram asking people if they like the length they prefer, and the majority of people said that they liked an hour or more, so you're in for a special treat. I have no doubt that this will be at least an hour long. But here's Em. Let's get started on her. I'll bring this down again. Changed her pose a good few times when I did the sketch because it was difficult. Like the pose, I didn't like how it was reading and I couldn't get like her face right. So she's the only one that doesn't have hands. But I guess Miles might make up for it in the fact that in both of his, he has 2 hands and the rest of them just have 1. My wrist is hurting, but it's not as bad as it has been, or it's not as bad as it could be because I've actually been taking care of it a little bit. What am I starting with? I think I'll start with her skin. Yeah, that baby pink color I think will be perfect. I kind of want to show more of the palette. I just feel like it's more fun when you get to see more. If my head starts to dip in though, I'll change my mind. I think I'm gonna take this, pigment it up, and add a little bit of this orangey color. Yep, that sure is a skin tone. A pale, my pasty young lady. I mess up this sketch so many times that it's honestly almost like hard to read. My goal for this part is to shut up a little bit more. Because when I was editing, I was like, damn, bitch, you talk a lot. Especially because I have a lot of drawings I'm doing. If it was just like 1 or 2, I wouldn't mind it as much. But because it's so many, I kind of have to care a little bit more. I can see that some of the glitter got into her skin. That same thing happened with the second drawing I did of Miles. The glitter just stuck to the palette a little bit. So if you're ever like, oh, I don't want there to be glitter in this next piece, be very, very attentive to your palette and your brush to make sure that they are rid of all of the color. I think that's honestly fine for the skin. I wanted to do M next because I figured she'd be kind of easy. She's very in my comfort zone, and also she has such pale skin. She has, I think, the whitest skin out of any character I have. And it makes it really easy to watercolor because I don't have to build as many layers to get to it. It's giving Marinette. The navy black hair. I remember that show made me think that navy hair was like an actual color option. Because I remember I asked my dad, I was like, is it possible for someone to have this hair color naturally? And he was like, I don't know. Her skin is still a little wet there, so I think I'm gonna have to face a little curly Q. Aw, look at her. Aw. Her and her dumbass little curls. I don't know. I imagine that she was born with like 1 curl, and then since then it hasn't gone away. We're gonna find Paris green because that is the most M shade of green. I kind of want to decide on like an actual main character outfit for M. I think maybe plaid outfit I gave her with like the brown pants. I think that could maybe be in the wheelhouse for her. But also, have we considered that I got that outfit off of Pinterest and I don't want it to be a copy, just a blatant copy of an outfit, because that's what it was. So maybe I do that and change it up a little bit. The pros and cons of using Pinterest to help you come up with ideas. It will always be clockable. Like I remember one time I did a drawing, thought the pose was super cute, very original. I hadn't seen it before, and then I saw it many times in other people's drawings later, and I went, oh right, we all are using the same app. Gave her green, the same sage green eyeshadow. I think that could be, well, I wanted, ooh, you know what I could do? Don't get too excited. I could do some glitter on her eyeballs. I could make a teal. If anybody's going to have a lot of glitter, gotta be her. More blue. Look at how just like pretty and shimmery that is. I love that. Absolutely gorgeous. When I will rinse off my brush of all the glitter, I think of that audio that's like, pretty pickle, pretty pickle, and it's somebody adding like glitter to their pickle jar. I think I'll add maybe just the straight up blue to this little detail that I have going on in the background. The one animatic I've been working on, I don't know if I'm even gonna get that done anytime soon here. I've kind of decided like that's a project that I would love to ideally get done this summer, and I think that's possible still. But if I'm working on it into the school year when that gets started up again, so be it. Anytime I say so be it, I think of that stupid joke from BoJack Horseman where he's like, well, if wanting to kill all of you because you're horrible Americans and I think you're pigs is a crime, then so be it. Or should I say, so be it. And then Princess Caroline goes, aw, cute, wordplay.
But if you're gonna kick me to the curb just because I think you're all capitalist swine and want to see your way of life destroyed, well, so be it. Or should I say, so be it.
Oh, cute. Wordplay.
That's not even good wordplay.
I think of that scene a lot. She's got great hair. She is autistic, and I haven't really ever mentioned that too much. It's on our character reference. She's based on my friend, and a lot of the autistic traits that she has are mostly related to that friend. So it's basically just like, yes, she's autistic, but I don't even like think of like how those symptoms play out. She just has a lot of similar traits to my friend, and the biggest one is the way in which she consumes media. I think that this girl has a huge AO3 user and enjoyer and proactive person. I think I'm gonna make her undershirt sparkly too. I just think M gets all the sparkle. I think June will also have some more sparkle than other individuals in comparison, but she's just gonna have the most, okay? Oh, the sparkles are also just fun, you know? Like, if I have an excuse to be like, I guess I'll add a little bit more sparkle, I might as well, you know? But her media consumption is rough. And she like is very dedicated to her art, right? Like, she's very obsessed with her art. It's her main thing. But any moment of free time, because this girl is very bad at socializing. She has a really bad, like, level of socializing, and she's really into, like, just fucking internet culture, I think, in general. But it's to a point where, like, she thinks it's so fun to reference things, no one knows what she's talking about. Some of that brown to the background. Another problem with this set, there's only, like, one brown. There is these other ones, but they're not, like, this is the only brown. And again, easy color to mix. I just want to complain a little bit about the color selection. I also need to draw her eyebrows, but I think I might just save that to do with colored pencil because I really just don't want to deal with it. I already can see that there's like a divot in this brown from how much I've used it. My paint water is a little sparkly. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Yeah, no, I don't think so. But you know, in theory, you could. For sure.
We don't know. For sure.
I didn't think about the fact that her sparkles are like right up. Yeah, it's blending into that. It's fine. I love watercolor. Just look at how pretty it is. I think I might almost already be done watercoloring M, which is kind of crazy because I felt like with both of the Miles ones, I was working on them for so long. M, thank you for being easy breezy. I do think it mostly comes down to the colors that I had to do because these browns are pretty light, and Miles, I don't know if you've noticed, he's not as pasty as our friend right here. The differences between June and M, because I want them to contrast each other a lot, because I would say a major part of M, she does have like a strong level of self-confidence in herself. Like, she is definitely like, yeah, I'm good at ballet and I know what I'm doing and I'm not gonna like let other people's opinions of that sway me. She's really like, I don't give a fuck what other people's opinions are, but it's almost to an extent where it's a flaw. Like, you know, I love both a positive trait and a negative trait. Like, yeah, no one's words affect her, but oh god, no one's words affect her. So she kind of is like, I don't know, very confident to almost a fault, and that's a similar thing to June, but I would say that June's like sense of self-confidence is very como did he say, fake. Like, I would say that her confidence in herself is very just like, I definitely think she puts it on as like a performance. She has like they both have their guards up in different ways. June is very open to like friendships, has a good amount of friends, I would say, whereas M is not. M has like a lack of a lot of trust in other people and doesn't really care about other people. So she's like, I'm gonna go to my bedroom and read AO3 and go to bed. And this is not like my friend who she's based on. My friend who she's based on has a good level of social skills. This is where the characters and the real people divide. I think with June, it's like she immediately does not trust her or like her, and June doesn't really like trust M or like M, but it's more in like I don't know, she's just immediately threatened. I don't think M feels threatened by June at all. I just realized I'm not even painting on camera. Fuck you. Okay, she doesn't feel like threatened by June, but she definitely feels something else. She definitely feels something else towards June. She's not gonna like talk about it because I don't think she's a little she gets a little nervy with people. I don't think like she has confidence in herself and her abilities, but in her like ability to talk to other people and to make friends that she actually like wants to be friends with. I do think that part of this comes from her friendship with Cash not going uber well. When she's friends with Cash, that maybe after that whole experience and she like loses a friend from doing something that she's like unable to really see fault in at this point. I don't think she had many friends outside of Cash, and Cash was kind of like, I would say he was mildly popular and kind of like had her under his wing, so she kind of like had friends in association with him, but once they stopped being friends, she kind of lost anybody that she really talked to beforehand outside of him. So she's like, fuck everybody, fuck making friends, this shit's gay. I'm just gonna go to college. I'm going to be a good ballerina. Worst case scenario, I'm the best stripper you've ever met, and I live the rest of my life and I don't have to think about other people. And then she meets June and she's like, shit, I have to think about this person. Shoot, I don't have a choice in thinking about this person. I'm losing my mind. A trait that I want to give that's a trait that is a level of fixation so hard when you have a crush that you feel laced. I think that she feels tweaky and loses her mind, especially because like I think she's maybe had crushes on other like girls before, but with June it's like it's never really been someone in this like close proximity. I love making my characters gay. It's very fun for me. Okay, I think she's ready for some line art. Okay, my camera cut out because I ran out of storage. I had to delete some things. I had to wait a day for my phone to process the fact that I deleted things. My storage isn't full anymore. Me and my dog came back from a walk, and I was gonna have him hang out in here while I filmed, but then he was breathing so heavily that I was like, I think I don't want this atmosphere. You know, I didn't think about what color her eyes are. I mean, eyeballs in general for me are like not my favorite thing to draw, so I feel like that might contribute to my feelings towards it. I just don't think about her eyeballs. I mean, or like eye color that much. I think I did decide on canon eye colors for all of them though when I did make the reference sheets of all of them. So Miles, in his first form, he has really dark eyes, but they're also like very desaturated. So I think that they're a really desaturated bluish brown color is kind of what I've thought of. Whereas in his second form, his eyes are a little bit like of a brighter brown. I'm gonna just add a little bit of texture to the skin here because it's looking a little bland. You can hear my dog drinking his water, and I'm on a different floor. He's loud as fuck, but I love him. Layering to her eyeshadow to make it look extra shiny. I think that's fun. I could do her eyebrows with this though. She has like just such teeny little eyebrows. I feel like she has the most distinctive a look out of any of my characters, which is really convenient because then I feel like every time I draw her, I'm like, yeah, that looks like I'm gonna add some extra moles just around. Oh, she's so cute. You can hear my cat loudly chewing. All of my pets, loud as fuck. I can't wait to show the friend that she's based on this drawing of her. Not that it's her, but she is quite a big fan of M. I said, this OC is based on you. And then she's like, oh my god, I love her. I think the friend who Cash is based on, I would assume his favorite is also Cash. I don't know. Maybe it's Miles. I actually haven't talked to him about those in a hot second. Adding a little bit more texture to her face because I Adding texture. I kind of want to add definition to these background details, so I'm going to add a little line art, I guess you could say, around to shimmer. Wow. I like it more with that detail of the line art for sure. You know, there's not a lot of times where I feel like I forget that I'm filming, because a lot of times I'm just yap. While I was doing the line art on that, totally zoned out, which I think is good. These videos need to contain a little less yappy. She's almost done. I was gonna say I think she's done, but I know how I ended that drawing of Miles. Gonna define a few spots with this blue. I kind of want to make these like their main photos on Artfight. Like I feel like these are cute for that. Okay, I think she's beautiful and done. Aw, look at her. Look at her. I'm gonna hold all the ones I have done so far. Hey, look at them. Oh, they're so cute. Okay, I gotta start working on the next one. Okay, I thought it would make sense to do June next, but I'm actually thinking I want to do one of the cash drawings, and this one's speaking more to me right now, so I'm gonna do this one. I don't want to do both caches back to back. That doesn't sound fun to me. So I'm gonna do this cache, then I'm gonna do this June, and then that cache will be last, okay? We all okay with that? Good, because you don't really have a say. I think I'll start with the skin the way I have it with every single one of these characters. I'm gonna look at these for a good skin tone. I feel like golden brown maybe. If I like, do we like that I don't really clean my palette very much? I'll bring y'all up a little bit. I get maybe why that one person said that they don't like the like mixing plate up here. And my only thing with that is that I just think it's too small. Again, this is meant for like compact traveling, you know? So I can get it, I can understand it for those purposes. However, I'm not that guy. And I still have this to swatch. I feel like skin tones are where I spend maybe the most time trying to get it right. That's looking good. Looking good, taking formula well. I've thought of video ideas, and one of the ones that I still want to do, it might just be another hot minute before I get around to doing it, is doing studies of like trying to practice my same face syndrome and practice drawing like likeness by doing facial studies of characters of the pit, like in a sketch vlog. I just think that could be pretty fun because it gives me an excuse to do the pit fan art, and also then I can practice drawing some faces. The pit is just it has a good variety of like different enough looking people I'm thinking like of characters I would want to draw. I would want it to be a solid mixture of different genders, races, and ages. Like that would kind of be what I'd want to do, because I have thought of doing the 100 head challenge before. It used to be like a goal in my sketchbooks almost every single time because of how big of an issue it was and how much I wanted to do it. I need to do more layers on his skin, but I need to wait for the skin to dry. And I can't do his hair because his hair is touching his skin. Ooh, my life is so hard. I'll say the hardest thing about making these videos is the lack of background noise I'm allowed to have while I make them. Working on this many projects for this amount of time is one thing, but when you're doing this many drawings back to back and you can't have the sweet sounds of other YouTubers in the background to keep you company and sane, it's a little difficult. I like the thought of doing a sit down study like that more than doing like the 100 heads, or it at least would be like good preparation for the 100 heads if I do that challenge, because I do want to. It's been something that I wanted to do for honestly as long as I've known it. Am I starting with the hair before the skin is dry? Maybe a little bit. We'll see if this is my detriment. I just don't really listen to my own advice, like, oh wait for the water to fully dry. I was teaching kids that with watercolors recently, that for their shit to fully dry, like look for it being shiny, and then I don't even wait for my shit to fully dry. But they are learning. I do as I say, not as I do. I just got a notification that somebody commented on my sketchbook tour saying that this is just a Bloody Mary shrine, which it kind of is. That whole sketchbook is a lot of Bloody Mary fan art, but I also had a lot of Bloody Mary commissions. I don't know if I would. I actually have a strong feeling that I would not have done as much Bloody Mary as I did do had I not had as many Bloody Mary commissions as I did, which bless up. I'll take it. It kind of like fueled the fixation probably longer than it would have lasted had I not had those commissions. Oh god. We'll fix that later. We'll wait for that area to dry and then we'll go over it and touch it up, okay? It is feathering out, but I can fix it. I'm just gonna make the area around it bigger once it's all dry so I don't spread it out too much right now. You know, I have like a playlist of all the songs that I associate with them. And I also have a separate playlist that's like all the songs I have animatics for. Because there's some that I kind of just imagine them aura farming to, and I don't think that there's any point where I'll animate all of that. And then there's some that are like very storyline animatic-y that I want to make animatics for. Father by the Front Bottoms, and when I was listening to that I was like, shit, I didn't think about how this fits way more. And then I was thinking maybe not necessarily him and M dating, because M and June are both lesbians. So a little they're not quite a couple. But with Cash, I'd still imagine that like his friendships with people like M are similar to kind of the relationship described in that song, where it's like, you were high school, I was just more like real life. Like he's got like the shit he's dealing with at home and stuff, like has the social life, and he definitely views his social life as, this is like my nice little distraction from the actual shit I'm doing. And then he like drops all of his friends because he gets depressed. But you know what? I can fix it. I believe in myself. I'm gonna pause this while I wait for it to dry. It's so hard to turn off Drew Gooden. It's so hard to be like, no, I can't rewatch the same video again. I have to get back to my drawing. There he is. That's my man. Okay, let it dry, put on Drew Gooden again. You know, I'm realizing I could do the shirt, but then I have to think of what color I'm doing for a shirt. So I was thinking I would just do black, but that's so much just black in one drawing. You know, every time I draw him in this form, I get to a weird point where I'm like, I can't add any color because he doesn't look emo. So maybe I make that a thing. Oh, he's covering up and he can't have any color because he's too sad. he's Eric Cartman. I was thinking I'd do the shirt black and then the tie red, but then I was like, okay, so you made a character emo and the only outfit you could think of is the My Chemical Romance one. Yeah, just ignore it blending in, you know, like that's, just do whatever the fuck you want. Don't even think about how you're fucking up your art piece. I feel like an impatient little kid. I just want these to dry a little bit faster. Maybe I'm just using too much water on my brush, but then it blends better on the paper. More shit. Do we like how it's blending into his skin? Fuck my life. Don't piss me off. I'm so mad. I'm just gonna like move it out of my way and let it dry. Dear God. I like how it's going, but look at his neck. Sorry, bud. That's my mistake. That was his mistake. Okay, so did I finish it off camera? Yes. My phone said it was out of storage again, and I went, okay, fine, I won't film. And then I had to wait, but this is the cash. And then remember how cool the other ones look so far. Look at them all together. Grown-ass man. Okay, put the cards away. Another woman. I wanted to make sure that in this drawing I felt like I captured her heartness. I think her face is heart-shaped. I wanted it to be clear that her bangs are meant to be heart-shaped. Do you like how well this one turned out for how many mistakes I made? You can even tell that I also have been drawing June more with braids. I don't know if it's like that's gonna be what I do for her hair permanently, but it's been fun to think about and sketch out. You know, I'm always thinking about all these characters, right? But with June and M recently, I feel like they've been occupying quite a bit of my mind. My stomach hurts really bad, and then I went and got Wingstop, and I don't know if you could guess, but my stomach doesn't feel a whole lot better. I really like the way her and M's designs like look when you put them next to each other. I remember like when I first designed M, I immediately was like, put her next to the other woman, and then I was like, fuck, oh my god, it's perfect. I have thought a little bit more about June's family though. I do think she might be a middle child, and like her brother is a college dropout, like has not succeeded. That she has very little contact with her older brother, partially there's like just a bit of an age gap, so like already they weren't super close. I don't know how much of an age gap. When she was growing up, like if she was in elementary school, I think he would already be like in high school, like at least that level. She kind of didn't know what was really going on with him, but like she could kind of tell that there was like just some disputes between him and her parents, and she kind of, I think growing up was just like, I will always be better than him. Cash, I also forgot to mention in his section, but we'll probably talk about it more when I paint him again. He's got a younger sibling now. I definitely want to talk about that, but I want to talk about June a little bit more. One thing about June is that she's very, very intelligent. She has to work very hard to like go places with her life, just because she wasn't really guaranteed that with like money or anything. Like she's like, I need to get a fucking full ride or I'll never be able to like justify going into ballet. Everything else that June is like successful in, she's had to try really hard and she doesn't enjoy it, whereas like ballet has kind of been the one thing she's always been consistently good at without having to put in too much effort. So she's kind of like, I'm just gonna do this thing that I believe is easiest for me. We'll see how this goes. Oh my gosh, she's giving Daphne. I never like made that connection until just this second. For Halloween, I draw her and Em as Velma and Daphne. She's kind of like if Daphne was like a little bit alternative career, but I think she just knows she wants to do something artsy, and she's like, this is the only thing I can perceive actually maybe working out for me, just because she's had so much luck in it. I do think that she, like I've mentioned before, that she plays the bass, and I think that she really enjoys it, but she's not naturally good at it, so it like pisses her off. So she's like, why would I even keep practicing this when this isn't even like the thing that's that I need to be doing? As maybe the story goes on, she is like, okay, shit, maybe I do actually have to give this more of a chance, because this is actually something I want to do. I'm adding some stripes to this little t-shirt deal. Oh, and it's still blooming, because guess what? It's not fully dry. You know, I saw it and I went, that's good enough. It's good enough by my standards, which are low. I love editing. I've been editing as I've been going along with this one, and I think every time I like actually sit down and have to edit something, I go, wow, I forgot that I actually really enjoy this part. If you're curious, what I use for wiping off my brush is just a cut up bleach t-shirt that got too many holes in it that I didn't wear anymore. Hashtag reduce, reuse, and recycle. The rush to get all these done. Think about how fun it would be to have just like all of these illustrations to look at. Like, oh my god, that sounds so good. Like, oh, that would be nice. I don't know where I'm gonna put them. I've thought of maybe leaving them in the sketchbook, like put them on top of their thumbnail sketches, but I'm like, okay, but I want them to be somewhere a little bit more special than that, so maybe I'll put them on my wall. I thought like, okay, I could put them right next to my bed while I sleep, and I was like, you are a little freak. You know that? Do you know that you're a little weirdo? Honestly, I think I have most of it done. I might add another wash to the sleeve, but right now I want to focus on getting her eyes painted. I think she's the only one I've watercolored the eyes for so far. Cash, you couldn't see his eyes. Em, I did with colored pencil. Miles, I did. The other ones I just all did with colored pencil. And then I want to do the shimmery purple for background. I feel like as I go with these, I'm doing them a little bit quicker each time. Could it be like the practice of warming up, and I'm also getting used to the watercolors and whatnot. I'm going speedily. I like that her and Em's backgrounds kind of match stylistically. I didn't do that for Miles and Cash, but they both have two anyway, so it kind of made sense that theirs would match their own. Oh, she's so cute. I kind of want to add maybe some green sparkles in the background, or maybe just a green background to tie in her eyes a little bit more to the rest of the piece. I started to watch a Drawing with Waffles video, because I haven't changed since I was 12, by the way. And I was starting to watch it, and it was like her purple pen video from forever ago. And one of the top comments was like, oh, I would never mix purple and green. And I think purple and green is strangely a color combination I have done a lot. I think it's interesting, particularly in the sense that with like my other story, Mindless Power, that I I promise it still exists. It still runs rampant in my brain, but these are the main problem right now, so you have to deal with these. The main couple in that, their main colors are green and purple. And then, I don't know if you've noticed, with Miles and Ash, it's also kind of green and purple. Like, Miles, I know I say magenta, but he's also kind of purple and pink. I don't know. He's kind of just trans colors, and pink and blue mixed together makes purple. Shut up. Whenever I see purple and green mixed together, I think of this I don't know if this is super niche, so let me know if you watched this as a kid. But this one channel called Bin's Toy Bin, when I was little, that was my shit, dude. And their like logo is purple and green, and a lot of times I think of that, and I go, you know what? Coming full circle, I guess. That was like the first YouTube channel that I think I ever like hyper fixated on. Which is a really gay sentence, but it's true. Because they did like My Little Pony blind box openings, and I think that they would make, maybe like sometimes they would make little stories and do like their own, like they're playing with the ponies, but they were doing like their own storyline, and I remember I was super into that. She looks like she's ready for some line art when she dries in a second, but that's not gonna take too long because it was just the background. Yay! There's not a single one I've made thus far that I haven't liked, so that makes me proud. What do y'all take for stomach aches? Because I feel like I'm gonna die. Oh, I'd make that same noise every time I see my characters, and I'm like, aw, I know them. I do have one of June and M's first interactions figured out. Them and like their ballet team, or like not even their team, but like maybe their ballet class or whatever it is. They all decide, let's go eat out. They'll go, and when M is in the bathroom, the other girls start talking shit, and M like gets pissed off and like leaves to go find M in the bathroom. She doesn't like stop the other girls from talking shit, because I think she also doesn't want to be like isolated, but she kind of does like a little huff puff and then goes away. But she's trying to make a good impression with these girls, and she goes and finds M and kind of tells her like, hey, by the way, these girls were talking shit about you. Like, just so you know. And M's like, oh, that's interesting. Did you fucking say anything to them about what they were saying about me, or did you just like walk away? June is like, oh shit. Ah, my stomach. Oh my god. Ow, 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 ow. You can't see me, but I'm like crawling. Go downstairs. Go. He's just hovering outside my door. Kennel. There he goes. You have to say the K word to him for him to be like, oh, okay. M sort of like responds to this and is like, so it just sounds like you were a part of it anyways. I don't even know why you're gonna get on my good side or whatever. And here's the kicker. She's like, I saw you fucking staring at me in the locker room, you fucking weirdo. Like, I know that she's like, I know that you're probably judging me just like all those other girls are judging me. As M is walking away, June is like, I'm a lesbian. Please don't tell the other girls this, but I'm a lesbian. If I was staring at you, I promise I wasn't judging. I was thinking something else, and I'm sorry about that too. I feel really bad about it, and please just don't tell the other girls. And then M like pauses for a second. I want to say that she is kind of mildly sheltered. I mean, her mom's like a superhero, and she's kind of like, I want to say, shielded M from general things, I guess. She's kind of has like some level of, I don't want to say like innocence, but just a lack of experience out in certain environments. I mean, she's also, I would say she's like socially anxious, but she's also a little bit autistic, so I feel like they kind of play in together. She is not used to, I guess, like an interaction like that of somebody admitting like, oh, trust, I wasn't like staring to be judgmental. I mean, especially, I think that's maybe like one of her first times she has, especially maybe with like another girl, and she's like, oh shit. And I don't think she's known other lesbians in dance. At least from both of their experiences, they've mostly only known other straight women in ballet. So June admits that, being like, obviously this is just gonna be another girl who is just another straight girl. And then M kind of awkwardly is like, oh, yeah, I won't tell them, but just don't tell them that I'm gay too. Like, don't tell them that I'm also a lesbian. And then they're both like, wait, we're both lesbian. Wait, what happened? Wait. I never considered the possibilities. Oh, I made that eye way bigger than this one. Maybe I'll make it look like she has really thick eyeliner on both eyes to make up for it. That looks better, I think. Ooh, I don't like this eye. Fix it with a little bit of white Posca. Speaking of, where is it? There it is. Doing a little bit of this and also adding in a more prominent highlight in her eye. That already looks a bit better. I could touch it up a little bit more once that dries. I'm gonna add some line art around the hearts, and then I think should be done. Unless I do the little thing again where I go, not really. She's almost done. I'm gonna add a little bit of texture. Also helps fill in some of those white gaps that aren't necessarily like the worst thing, but damn, wouldn't it be nice if they were filled a little bit? I think she's done. I'm gonna do what I've been doing with all these. Put them all next to each other and go, wow, look at how they're all turning out. I didn't think about how her and Cash now both have green. See, I just have to do one more. Wait.
Whoa.
Wait. We have to do one more and put it right here. Okay, we're almost done. And then, grown ass man. Last one. I'm almost done. Oh my god, once these are all done, I'm gonna be so fucking happy. So Cash, as I had just mentioned, as I was yapping about his dear friends Em and June, he's a little sister now. I've updated the story. At least he's kind of has the biggest update, I guess, so I'm saving him for last. Has a little sister who's significantly younger than him. He's like 19, she's like 7, and I think that they're technically half siblings, but I mean, like, he's not gonna be like gay and say that that's his half sister. They're closer than that. That's his sister. That's his little sister. And he's kind of like made himself be in charge of taking care of her. Not necessarily like totally by his choice, but sort of just him being like, I do not trust either of my parents to be taking good enough care of this kid. So he kind of puts a lot of it on himself to make sure that she's all right. And I think that him and his little sister, I think it's a very cute dynamic. I think she like very bubbly and sweet when like she's comfortable around you, but with most people she's kind of anxious, and I think that kind of comes from her environment. I think that for her it's her stepdad, but Cash's dad is not like the sweetest individual, as you may have been able to guess. And for little, I think I've decided her name is Rhea. That's like the name I've thought of for her. That she definitely feels really mostly just comfortable with Cash and their mom, just because those are the two people that are like the most familiar. I think maybe she has like one or two friends, but she's just she's very bubbly and chatty and like sweet with the people she's comfortable with, but in like school and things she's very, very anxious and isn't as chit-chatty. I've done like one drawing of her and Cash, and I think that drawing of them is really cute. I am just kind of a sucker for little sister, little daughter, a man who you never see very happy hanging out with that sweet little girl. But I think that she also brings out a side of Cash that he also doesn't really let a lot of people into, which is kind of his generally like nicer side. Like, I think he, even before all the shit happens with him developing powers and whatnot, he already a little bit guarded and like doesn't let people in too much. But Rhea is kind of already in the situation with him, and he definitely has a lot of like, I want to kind of protect her, and I also want her to know like that I get it and I understand, and I've been a scared kid too. And I think that he kind of sees parts of himself in her and wants to protect her from having like the same level of shit he's had to deal with, because he didn't have someone like really protecting him the way he does to her. Aww, it's sad. I think though that once he gets powers and is off to college, that he kind of doesn't want to interact with her as much. Both of their parents die. Neither of their parents are around once Cash goes to college. And so Cash and his sister are living with their grandmother, and she's chill. She's goated. I like her. I haven't thought too much on her, to be honest, but I believe it's their mom's mom, and she's the goat, and she's always hated their dad. Do you like how I'm still working on it even though the hair is wet, and it's a very timely thing for that to happen just at that exact moment. You know, I once got really anxious when I was working on a commission because I made a mistake like that. And the thing was, I was like, they're not gonna know if I fix it. Like, I need to remind myself that, like, I'm allowed to make mistakes on every art piece as long as I can fix it. One of those, I was like, no, it should be perfect the whole way through. I fixed it and it looked just as good. Whoever got it probably doesn't even know that there was a problem. Don't even worry, I didn't rip anybody off. I just had to use acrylic paint to cover up an eye that I fucked up. I feel like whenever I'm in doubt with the color, I just add a little bit of brown to it, and then I'm like, yep, that's closer to what I wanted. But that could work as the first layer. Oh, I didn't draw. Oh, I drew part of his hand down here and I just noticed it. Okay, I'll have to fix that. Is his neck still wet? No, but it is a little sparkly, I just noticed. I like how sad and like washed out and lame these look at this stage, because I'm like, they're gonna get cool, they're gonna look good, but when they're just this, I'm like, wow, they just look so washed out from their colors. I'm watching Animal Kingdom. It's really all I've been thinking about the entire time I've worked on this drawing, not gonna lie. I've been very quiet. You know where my mind has been? Pope Cody. That's where my mind has been. I'm adding another bang. I don't like how it looks with just one. I honestly kind of like doing stripes and plaid. I'm ready for the colored pencils. Don't get too excited. Okay, last one. Oh, I just got so pissed off. I still needed to add the watercolor background. Just kill me. Just vote. I was thinking I could just do the same background and then add black. That went easy. I think as I wrap up this final illustration, I'll talk about the watercolors, how I felt about them, if I recommend them, that whole shtick. I guess to put it the most simply, yeah, I liked them. I thought they were good. I thought they were good quality. Especially, like, they're not super expensive. They're like $30. So especially at that price range, and you're getting 56 colors, you're getting what you're putting in money-wise. I'd say that I like them, and I definitely can see myself using them. Honestly, I think that this might be the set I bring back with me to school, just because, like I said, it is so compact. It's meant to be used for like traveling. I definitely want to maybe try using these in like a plein air setting to see how they would do. That's maybe like what these are most intended for, is using them in plein air. So it makes me think I should try that out. This hurts my wrist, but you know what? Once I'm done with this drawing, I can have a nice long break of whatever I'm willing to give myself. Yeah, I think that they're worth it. I am most excited about the fact that I now have shimmers. I used to I'd always walk by the shimmery watercolors in stores and be like, oh, those seem fun, but like I can't like justify buying just like a set of shimmers because I don't know how much I'm gonna use them. Them already being included in this makes it kind of like, okay, well, they're here as an option, and maybe for some people they'd prefer to have like just other colors in place of, but you have so many colors already that to have a few shimmery ones definitely isn't a problem. Like, it doesn't feel like you're missing out on something. I complained a little bit about the color selection. However, after doing these, it really did not come up as a problem at all, and I don't know if it would come up as a problem for other people. I think my biggest thing isn't even the purple, it's more so the browns. I wish that they had a couple deeper browns to start with. And also, you can mix a brown, you can mix a purple. They just have I felt like the color selection, it felt like with some points in the palette, I felt like it could be a little bit repetitive, and then other places I was like, I feel like we could have had more choices in these color ranges, but it wasn't ever to a point where I felt like it ended up damaging my art, or like I felt super limited or anything, especially because, again, with watercolors, you can mix, so you're really never as limited as you feel like you are. Even with palettes that are like those Crayola ones that are like the 7 pans of color, I have made those work for me. So definitely I don't feel like you're losing your mind lacking any colors here. The shimmers, I'm super glad they're included because it makes me go like, oh, I actually do want to use these. Like I want to use these for stuff. Using it as like a little touch to my drawings, I think is fun. So can I recommend them? Yeah, use my link. I also, by the way, wasn't paid at all by Grabie. They sent me them for free to make a TikTok out of. Done other Grabie products, but they don't even know I'm making this video. I just made this because I wanted to, which is cool, I guess. I don't know. I like these watercolors. They're good. They're nice. You want to get them, buy them through my link. I don't even know what my commission is. I just know I did a commission, which makes me go there, get them there. I think that's a problem. It also came with like this little paper pad, the like one that I'm using right now. It had all these little sheets in it. You're getting like a lot of little extra bonusy things as well. Oh, he looks like a sad man. I'm at a point where my stomach hurts a little bit and this project has taken me so long, and I honestly am at a point where I'm having fun, but I want to keep having fun, and so the cameras might have to be cut off. Honestly, I might still do that now that I've reported my thoughts on the watercolors. Yeah, bye until I come back. Oh my god, I think I did it. He's done. He's still drying a little bit, so I'm gonna be careful when I do this next part. We started with the beta form of Miles. There he is, our sweet, sad little man. I did this one off camera. My happy version of the same man. The glitz and glam, the beautiful, the gorgeous. Finally, we did cash. We did cash again. I did it. I finished it off camera, and then June, she's gorgeous. And then finally, oh my god, okay, I need to, I'm not even that excited about them. I don't even think they look that cool. Look at them! Oh my god, they turned out so good. Wait, they turned out so good. I'm just gonna sit and stare and appreciate this. Sometimes I look at my art and I feel like I go, yeah, I feel like you can tell that I watched like Steven Universe and Hamilton animatics as a kid. I feel like that's influential, but you know what? I ate this the fuck up. I don't even care if everybody thinks that I did a bad job. I think that these look good. I'm so happy with this. I'm sorry that this video is like 5 hours. I had fun though. I had fun making it, and I'm really happy with how these all turned out, and I hope you liked them. If you want to get those watercolors, use my link in the description so that I can get some profit from this like genuinely like free advertisement I gave them. If you want to hear more about these characters, I have a whole video gabbing about them. I know I talked about them a lot already, but if you wanted to hear more, I have that video available. And I do sketchbook tours. I do a bunch of cool art stuff on here. I'm trying to do more fun art videos before I have to go back to college, but these are fun. Look at, oh my god, I'm so happy with these. These are so cool. I'm just so happy with these, dude. So I hope you can go make something that you're really happy with. I hope you got to draw along or do something somewhat productive, or if you just chutted about and watched me draw for over an hour, congrats on doing that. I don't know why you chose this to watch, but I'm happy you did nonetheless. Now it's time to make all of them kiss again. As I say, have a good rest of your breakfast, lunch, and our dinner, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video. Bye! Grown-ass man.